We got a semi-full show tonight till 9:30, and then we'll hand things over to the Celtics. So we are with you all night long. Anything that you missed from the day, we'll certainly catch you up to speed. Again, I'm Joe Murray. We'll get you our opening take coming up in a bit, but a lot on the table to unpack from the weekend. Of course, the NCAA tournament, I'm sure you watched it, but there was a great matchup between John Calipari and Rick Pitino that I was all hyped up for. So got some thoughts on that coming up in a bit. The Celtics continue to dominate, and there's some interesting numbers as we head into the final stretch of this season. The Cavs are struggling. The Celtics are in the 2 spot. Can they creep up to the 1? I don't know. But we're now starting to see some rotational stuff. Some guys might be back in the lineup tonight. So we'll have all that for you as well. The Red Sox tentatively have set their roster, and we'll do a lot on the Sox tonight to open the season in just 3 days. And there is more on the Patriots and the draft. Today was Pro Day. And I know we're going to talk to John Serenes later on tonight from New England Football Journal. He was at BC Pro Day. Certainly want to get the update on what happened there, so we'll talk to him at 8:20 tonight. We got In or Out. We got Musings. We got it all here on the show. And, of course, you can join us at 617-779-0985. We're on YouTube as well. We got Jeff Williams in tonight for Skaz intern Trent here as well. So we got a full show, and we got a lot of fun on tap as well. But let's get to the opening take, which is brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Opening take, ESPN Bet Sportsbook. And, well, do we now have a direction for where the Patriots will go in the NFL draft this year? Today, it's reported that they're going to draft the best player available, not for need. So before I give you the quote from Karen Gregan, who had this earlier today, the Patriots are drafting for best player available, which is something I thought they always were doing. Or last year, was it quarterback and then wide receiver and then line, and none of it worked out? So last year's philosophy was for position, but this year it's for best available. If that's what they want to tell us, fine. Maybe at this point, the best player available is why they should draft at 4. So I'm still not sold they're going to draft at 4. I'm still not sold. And today, there was a lot of reports about Cam Ward. He had his pro day today. He had dinner with the Titans last night. So is Cam Ward now going 1? I know Adam Schefter all along has said Cam Ward will be the first pick in this year's draft, but it doesn't mean that Cleveland can't trade up or the Giants can trade up. But things are now starting to lean towards Cam Ward being the number 1 overall pick. The betting odds will tell you that Cam Ward will be the number 1 overall pick. Well, that now gives a couple of cracks for the Patriots to potentially get Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. The Giants still sit at 3, so who knows what happens there. But when you say best available, of course you want Travis Hunter or Carter to be available. Those, if they're on the board at 4, you select them. It's as easy as that. So maybe that's what the Patriots are doing right now. But per Karen Gregan of Mass Live, Patriots Executive Vice President of Player Personnel, Elliot Wolf, told the audience, because there was a nice little event this week, that they went a little too heavy on drafting too much for need last year. And that they were pivoting to best player available. There's the word again. Pivot. Pivot. They had to do it in free agency, right? Because they struck out on so many free agents. They had to do it, right? They have to pivot all the time. Well, they had this guy in mind, but now you got to pivot. Well, you had this guy in mind. Now you got to pivot. A lot of pivoting going on, and they used the word again when it came to the draft. But I'm in on Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. I don't know if it's going to happen. Cam Ward, and then whatever happens at 2. But if one of those players are available, it's the easiest thing for them to do. It was probably easy for the Patriots last year to select Drake May at 3. I don't want to give them credit for it because it's so easy to do. But that was their strategy a year ago. Now, I don't know how any of this helps them on the offensive line, which is probably what they'll do if the best player isn't available at 4. Elliot Wolf on the Patriots draft strategy. I already mentioned, went for a little bit too much need last year. But just moving forward, it's taking the best player. and understanding that we filled a lot of needs already in free agency. So here they are now telling you that some of the needs that you think that they haven't covered yet, they've already taken care of those in free agency. The Patriots have needs, but it's not going to alter their draft this year. I'm curious how some people feel about that. Like, do you think they should just draft the best player available and not go for needs? Like, I think they need a running back. I think they need probably another tight end at some point. I think they need a safety, a real free safety, like a real free safety. But they're just going to go best player available. I'm curious your thoughts on that. 617-779-0985. Here's another one I read today that I thought was somewhat interesting, and maybe we can dive into this a little bit more later. Are the Patriots cheap? That was the article today from Tom Curran of NBC Sports Boston. He broke it all down. Are the Patriots cheap? That's the headline. Yes. But when you look at the numbers, nope. You can read that they've been the lowest cash spending team in football since 1993, but no, they're not cheap. That was Mike Reese had that one. Just, have they spent money? Yes. Over a 3-year span, have they spent money? Yes. But are they being cheap? Sometimes all it does is cost money. And they haven't made those deals. Sometimes they'll tell you that they spent or put $40 million on a guy like Brandon Ayuk. He just didn't want to come here. When it came to Calvin Ridley, yeah, we could have done the deal. He didn't want to come here. So they'll spend all the most money. They still can't get the players. Are they cheap? Well, sometimes it is. Stephon Diggs didn't sign. Why? Were they just looking at health, or was it because of the money? The Patriots have more time to work in free agency, of course. This is one of the lines from Are the Patriots Cheap? The Patriots have more time to work in free agency. They can even pull off a trade with a big-ticket receiver. Chances are, though, they're going to wind up rolling plenty of 2025 cash, which, by the way, they have the most of, into 2026. Yay! Well, kind of, Curran writes. Finally, by next offseason, the team can start laying groundwork for a Christian Gonzalez extension. And with a more representative performance in 2025, maybe they're a more attractive free agent destination. So are you telling me with that wording that they're going to get a receiver and a tackle next year because they struck out again this year? And that they're not going to identify those positions in the draft because they're going to go for best player available? That's what I read today. That was my thoughts on the Patriots, hearing everything today. Reading the articles. Again, not my opinion, just reading the articles. They're in on best player available. They went after too many needs a year ago. They feel like they screwed up. They don't want to look like they're cheap because they've been spending a lot of money, but they're probably going to have to roll over all the money that they have because they can't find anybody because they don't want to play here. So they're going to roll it over to 2026 where they become a better football team and maybe more attractive for free agents. That's what I got today. They're going for best player available, trying to be a better team so they can be more attractive, which means another year of suck. That's what I got out of today. They're going for best player available. They're trying to rebuild this thing to become more attractive so they can spend the money next year. Great. Fantastic. And best player available in the draft. How do you know that Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter are going to be available at 4? You don't. I thought this was supposed to be encouraging. But now, talking about money for next year and best available now to be more attractive for then? If that's the approach you want to go by, fine. I want them to be competitive this year. I watched a bad football team that was in games, couldn't close out games because of their coaching staff and young quarterback for that matter. Now, you got the coach that you want, that you think is the right guy, but it's still not a desirable destination. That's what the Patriots are doing. They're building up representative performances to be more attractive next year. When, again, they'll tell you they'll spend the money. So are the Patriots cheap? It's probably no, but at the same time, they're only going to spend it when people actually want to play here, and right now, nobody does. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. Your thoughts on the Patriots, the draft. I actually still think there's a player out there for the Pats available if they want to spend the money. I'll tell you who that is. I also tell you who I think they're going to draft. I know Daniel Jeremiah, a big draft guy as well. He's one of the guys that says the Patriots are in on somebody. We'll tell you who that is. We'll take a quick break. You can join us on YouTube as well and join us at 617-779-0985. I'm Joe Murray here until 9:30 tonight here on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to
up, Joe Murray? We got a semi-full show tonight. We're off at 9:30, but,
a raging semi.
Whoa, a raging semi there. That's the voice of Jeff Williams, everybody, who's in for Skaz. Skaz going to miss a couple of nights, so Jeff is in. We got our intern Trent here as well, and we're also on YouTube tonight. Haven't checked in with the chat yet. Got to see what they're up to right now. I know we got 100 people watching. Thank you, guys. Tom's in there. Dave C. I see Tony's in there. Who else we got tonight? We always got a nice little Colby's in there as well. So appreciate you guys joining us again. Just go to youtube.com/Sports Hub, and then you can find us right there, and you can join the chat and chat into the show as well. It's a special day today, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but it's National Cheesesteak and National Cocktail Day today. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the Surfsides that we have here. And tonight, Jeff and Trent, who are here in the building, we just got a food drop from Finnegan's.
I'm very excited.
So
I never get food on the weekends, so
here we go, Jeff. You picked a good night to come in. So have yourself a surf and turf, everybody. When you're out and about tonight, have a surf side and get yourself a nice little cheesesteak there. And again, Trent is our intern, New Jersey, but he's a Philly guy, Philly fan. So maybe we'll do some taste tests. Philly versus Boston. We all love it. The Patriots, again, I didn't want to disappoint everybody with that take, but when I read that the Patriots will roll over the money they have this year for next year because they'll be more desirable, get ready. So that's it. They're not going to spend any more money. Is a Stephon Diggs still on the table? I don't know. Like, is Tyron Smith even an option at left tackle if you can't find one? Like, are you going to spend more money? Because hearing, are the Patriots cheap, and then telling you why they're not cheap, but then hearing that, yeah, they're going to basically have money next year to give Christian Gonzalez an extension, and they'll be a better team and more attractive. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Oh, we'll be more attractive next year. And again, it is a slow rebuild, so I guess I shouldn't really get on them, but it's been 5 years. You already had a rebuild. Now you're going through another, and you're going to push money off next year when you're more desirable? If you want Stephon Diggs, all you got to do is pay for him. Is it going to solve all your problems? I don't know. Maybe that's the way they look at it too. I just like talent, you know? So they're going to tell you today they're going to draft the best player available. I don't know how it's going to set up. In my brain, this is what Joe Murray thinks. As of, what's today's date? Again, it's National Cocktail Day and National Cheesesteak Day, which is March 24th. So, as of March 24th, I believe it's going to be Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Shedeur Sanders. Those are going to be the top 3 picks in the draft. I think Cam Ward's either going to Cleveland or Tennessee. I think Abdul Carter is going to either Cleveland or Tennessee. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to the Giants. They signed Jameis Winston this week, so maybe he could mentor him for a year, and then Shedeur takes over. That would leave Travis Hunter at 4, which would be the best pick in the draft. Best pick available. Best player available. In on Travis Hunter. But there's no guarantee. Travis Hunter would be a great spot. Cleveland. He'd probably play both ways. They could use him. Jerry Jeudy's on the team. Like, they could use all that. But they might have to get a quarterback. They might have to do that. So that's why I wonder if Carter still goes 1. You know, because they have Will Levis. They try to, do another year of that. Where Ward falls 2, and then it's Sanders 3. But I don't want to be the only one who says this regarding Hunter. I just wanted to bring up some Hunter stats. Do you know that last year he played 714 offensive snaps and 748 defensive snaps? He also played 21 special teams snaps. So he had 93% of the Colorado snaps last year on defense and 94% on offense. He had 4 interceptions, 11 pass breakups, 36 tackles, 96 receptions, 1,250 yards, and 15 touchdowns. That's good. Like, for the people, Travis Hunter is probably not a 1 or he's not a wide receiver. I don't know. To me, he's very good. I've watched him play. That's good.
It's good.
It's very good. anyways, Daniel Jeremiah, everybody knows him. He's on ESPN. He's on the Pat McAfee show today. And, well, what does he think the Patriots should do if, someone's available at 4?
You think that Travis Hunter at 4 to the Patriots playing receiver makes sense value-wise? That's pretty interesting.
I would. I think he's dynamic. I think he'd be their most dynamic weapon on offense, and I think they would have a lot of fun watching those two guys, quarterback and receiver, kind of grow up together. I would be excited about that if I were a Patriot fan and somehow Travis Hunter would be there, and I would be interested when they say Travis Hunter, the Patriots select from Colorado Travis Hunter. Yeah! I would be listening though to say, is it wide receiver?
Football player.
Is it corner? Is it combo? Like, how are you going to write that on the card? Because the team does get to decide how that's going to be announced.
Oh,
I would be curious. That to me, that would be wide receiver / corner, not the other way around. If you're the Patriots.
All right. If you're a Patriots fan, you should be excited. I'm excited. Me. Guy who yells on radio. Me. If Travis Hunter is available to the Patriots, you find a place for him. I think wide receiver would be number 1. But hey, we just talked about all that money that the Patriots have that they might roll over to next year. Let's not forget Christian Gonzalez will be eligible for a new extension. So don't promise that you'll just roll that money over to next year when you got a guy like that waiting for an extension. Now, right now, would I pay Christian Gonzalez $40 million a year? No. I would not. So, do you think the Patriots are going to pay Christian Gonzalez $40 million a year? The answer is no, but let's be the fan for a minute now. The Patriots should have to pay people $40 million a year to play here, to stay here. When you have a guy, you lock him up. So I get it. The Patriots used to be able to pick and choose who they wanted to play, who they wanted to pay. Now you suck. Now you have to pay that tax. Now you have to pay it. So don't tell me that you're going to roll over money this year when you could have spent it this year and not spend it on that guy, which is why I think Hunter becomes you just drafted Hunter. Maybe you can work him in on defense a little bit, but make him a primary receiver, and you have decisions and leverage. I think Hunter's the guy. I'm excited for one Travis Hunter. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. I know a lot of people want to get in on this. Let's start with us. John, he's in Waltham. What's up, John?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I think, I get that you got to do a radio show and stir up the crowd, but I don't think it's like binary, especially when comparing it to last year's draft where you had a need and the best available both simultaneously at number 3. At number 4 this year, I think there's an argument to be made that they're going to choose the best available, but there's an argument there about whether the need is more important to fill O-line or receiver. And that is certainly a debate that's going to be going on in the room amongst the Patriots, GM staff, the scouts, Mike Vrabel, and probably the Crafts about, hey, what does that actually mean? Best available for what? The need and I just think they left it so arbitrary and convoluted so we have these kind of conversations.
Hey,
and
John,
they'll probably pull a fast one.
Hey, John, you started it with, hey, I know you have to do a radio show. Just take that part out of it. What you just said is exactly what they did. I didn't do that. They did that. They said draft for best available. I didn't say it. They did.
No. I know
you're saying you think I'm stirring it. They did it. I didn't.
No. It's just not. You're right. I mean, I think the response to that is less like, okay, well, let's not lean into that and do one or the other. Let's talk about how the Patriots organization might try to leave it open-ended. Best available at what? Best available at the need that we have. And then we both know that they pull a fast one in a press conference and say, oh, we put the best available for the greatest need. That's not something that they wouldn't do. We both know that.
All right, John, appreciate you. My only thing is I don't want people thinking I'm stirring the pot. a week ago, they said they don't want a veteran receiver in there because it could be bad for Drake May, and then they bring in Stephon Diggs. That was reported. Then it's reported today that they want to draft best player available. And then you read about, are they cheap, and that maybe what they'll have to do is move the money over to next year. I haven't said any of those things. They said it. This is what I do. I read articles, and then I tell you what they say, and then we talk about it back and forth. That's the job, everybody. We have this thing. We have a Slack channel. I don't know if anybody knows what Slack is, right? But it's like you guys probably have teams or whatever at your jobs, and we just see an article and we just throw it in there. And all day long, we just air fry takes off of these things. They said these things, not Joe. I'm just telling you what was reported. We got Kyler. He's in Norton. Hey, Kyler.
Yo, how are you, man? So, God, I couldn't agree with you more. I just got sidetracked with that last call. But, yeah, I know you work for Felger and Mavs and stuff from time to time, but,
I don't work for
that guy kind of just made you seem like you work for Felger and Mavs. But I agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. If they don't take Hunter at 4, if he's available, I think I'm done with this team.
Okay. Well, I don't work for Felger and Mavs. Just wanted to make that clear. I work for Beasley Media, 98.5 The Sports Hub. And then if they tell me, hey, Joe, we're going to pull you off the night show to work on Felger and Maz, that's what I have to do. That's part of the gig. But I don't work for them. And I know we have a radio show to do today, and that's not what we do at night. At night, we just talk about stories and give takes and then talk about other things and fun and all that. See, the Patriots did this today. They're the ones stirring. They're at BC Pro Day watching all the BC Eagles there, while Cam Ward's got every single team watching them. I want to know where Cam Ward's going to end up personally. Lee's in Pittsburgh. Hello, Lee.
Hey, Joe. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Just, I'm going to throw out some things there, and I'll hang up and let you elaborate. So historically, you're talking about people have played so many downs and plays in college, and their NFL careers were so much shorter than people that only played junior, senior year in college. And my second question is, what are your thoughts on Tyler Warren? I know 4 is really high for him, but what are your thoughts? Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you. I wouldn't draft a tight end at 4. I think he's a top. As far as a talent in this draft, I think Tyler Warren is probably a top 5 talent in the draft. He's a fantastic. Penn State did everything with him. I don't know what he even punted at times last year. As far as players he's played 2 years at Colorado, Hunter, and then he played 1 year at Jackson State. He was a blue chip All-American. I'm only bringing up the numbers of how much he played because of how important he was to the success of Colorado. When I look at guys who've played a lot of reps, I think that really only matters at running back, if you ask me. The Patriots made a living of drafting running back or getting running backs who didn't really get a lot of wear and tear. That was something that Bill Belichick loved. If you go back to Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, that guy got no run at Ole Miss and became, 1,000-yard rusher? Like Stephen Ridley was a backup running back at LSU and became a star. So I think Bill Belichick had a knack of finding guys who had less reps. I mean, look at Matt Castle. Guy barely played in college. Belichick had this knack of finding guys with not a lot of experience who could play. Now, there were a lot of Alabama players in particular that played a lot, that you saw a lot, that couldn't play at the next level. But I'll just give you some names. Dante Hightower played a ton in college, was awesome in the NFL. Chandler Jones played a ton at Syracuse and was great in the NFL. Like, there's a lot of guys that give you a lot of reps that play well at the next level. So I don't look into that whatsoever. John's in the car. Hey, John.
Joe, where'd you go today for your cheesesteak?
We have Finnegan's. It was delivered to us by the great people over at Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka. So Finnegan's in Hudson has brought it over to us. Thank you.
Well, I know you're a Peabody guy. We've spoken before. Diorce's has a top-notch cheesesteak if you're ever interested.
I love the Diorce family, and, dude, they are absolutely outstanding. One of my favorite places to go by far.
Joe, let me see if this works in your mind the way it does in mine. I'll use round numbers. The Patriots spent, for ease of discussion, $200 million on the defense this year. And the reason they did that, and they're good players. Williams can be a great player. The cornerback is very good. The linebacker is very good. I saw they drafted another interior line or signed another interior lineman. But if they were to take that money and spend it proportionally on the offense, it would cost them $400 million because it costs more for offense. So to shut the fan base up, they make this big splash on the defense and says, hey, look over here, I'm spending money, but don't look in this hand where I'm not spending it on the offense, which is where we really need the help. And he thinks he's going to get the best of both worlds because he can say, well, I spent the money, so it's not that.
Exactly. Dude, it's a good article. Check it out. Tommy Karn, NBC Sports Boston today. The article is, Are They Cheap? And it will show you where they're not cheap. And John just nailed it. They had to spend money a couple of years ago on free agency, and when you look at the last 3 years, they hit the threshold, so you can't call them cheap. But have they found their wide receiver or left tackle? The reason why I don't think they have is because, A, they didn't want to spend it at that price, and B, nobody wanted to come here. So what they're going to do is try to get the best players become more attractive so they can spend it next year. But again, stop telling me they're going to spend the money next year when it's been 5 years. Right, Jeff? Jeff Williams, everybody.
The money is mine.
The money! Right? When did Tom Brady leave? St. Patrick's Day 5 years ago, right?
Yes.
And then what did they do? They got Mac Jones. What happened? Didn't work out, right? Fired the coach. Then they brought in a new coach named Gerard Mayo. What happened?
Fired.
Now, so what? This is like should I go third rebuild? Should I be fair? Third rebuild? They don't have a left tackle. They don't have a wide receiver, and they have a lot of money available. But then the stories tell you they're not cheap. But then at the end they go, well, maybe this year we get the best players available in the draft. And then next year when they become desirable, they'll spend the money. What are they? Last year was burning cash. No consistency. I will say this as a Patriots fan. I know Bill Belichick isn't necessarily looks the greatest right now, right? But man, when he said nothing, it was the best. And then when he made the pick and you were like, you either loved it or you hated it. Now it's like you're begging for Travis Hunter or you're begging for Abdul Carter to be available. It's been 5 years. Anything else to add to that, Jeff?
No, but I think you nailed it when you have to spend this money to get these players to come here. This isn't, it's been 5 years. Tom Brady isn't walking through that door, if I want to quote Patino. You have to spend the money, and it has to start somewhere, and it has to start now.
Some guy swearing at me. 28th in payroll, you blank craft lackey. Put up some money for season tickets. Okay, well, sir, just so you know, I and my family were season ticket holders for 30 years. We dropped them last year. Dropped them. So, the guy, you're mad at me. Everybody, remember the first guy who called in? Yeah, I know you got a show to do. Every single thing I have said today was a report, right? Was a report. Not Joe Murray's opinion. I just gave you what they reported, and I'm telling you how I feel. If you don't like it, I apologize, but I'm not sorry. We got to go to break. Patriots are on the table. Hey, the Celtics played last night. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub. Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Half full show. Well, actually, I say semi-full show. We have we're on until 9:30. Normally we go till 10. The Pat stuff really got people going. I didn't mean to, but I just saw 2 reports today, and I'll just dumb them down. Patriots are going for best available. Then there was an article on NBCSportsBoston.com, which basically said, are the Patriots cheap? And then went on to tell you that all these things might be true about least amount of spending and, in the 30 years, cash spending. All those things are true, but then over, a 3-year period, they're right at the top. And then they spend so much money this year that it kind of raises things up a bit. So, we probably can't say they're cheap, but I don't think they want to spend to the market. How about that? And then one of the final lines in the article just says that basically they need to become desirable this year, and they'll move the money over to 2026 when they're actually, people want to play for them. So that's really all I've said. I got emotional. Everyone's been emotional. It's okay to get emotional. I see you guys on the phones. We'll get to you in a second. Let me just get this quick little update on the Celtics out of the way. They played this weekend. They'll play their 3rd game on this nice little road trip that they have here. But some things happened last night. Peyton Pritchard got the start in his hometown. Grew up in Oregon and played in Portland last night. He had 3 fouls instantly in 3 minutes. So he prefers to come off the bench. Sam Hauser had another just huge night, 24 points, awesome from 3. Jason Tatum, since the All-Star break, is averaging 28 points per game, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. That's good, right? Just wanted to make sure that 28, 9, and 7, that's good. Over the last 2 months, the Celtics have lost 1 road game. I think it was Oklahoma City. They're 21-1 away from home during that stretch. They're 28-7 on the road this year. So after winning for the 10th time in 11 games, the Celtics are officially on a 60-win pace for this year. Their top 8 have missed 101 games. Their starting lineup has played 20 games together. They won 11-10 from December 19th to January 27th. In their last 25 games, they're 20-5. Since the All-Star break, they're 13-3. And in the month of March, they're 10-1. Cleveland has been struggling. The Celtics are only a few games back. There might be a shot at 1. I don't think the Celtics will allow it. But tonight, Al Horford will sit. Porzingis and Holiday sat last night, so that's how it works on the old back-to-back. Looks like Jaylen Brown could be back for tonight's game. So there's your Celtics update. Chris is in Holbrook. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how's it going, bud?
Hey.
I was eating some Holbrook House, watching YouTube, figured I'd call, and I know you love, not Holbrook House, I'm sorry, Linwood's. I had Holbrook House last night, but Linwood's Pizza, I know you like it.
I love them, and I love Town Spa.
Oh yeah, Town Spa's good. That's a good one. Yeah, I was calling. I was in love with Hunter at the beginning. I watched his YouTube videos. I don't know if you ever saw it. He has a YouTube channel. The dude's doing windmill dunks like he's an NBA dunk professional. Like he's so freaking athletic. It's amazing. But then I watched these highlights of Tet McMillan, and I watched the game with Hunter trying to cover him, and it looked like a child trying to cover an adult receiver. He was holding on to him a few plays that an NFL referee easily would have called. Tet made such an easy one-handed catch in the end zone against Hunter. Hunter might be a great corner in college, but I think he will be a better receiver in the NFL because, correct me if I'm wrong, Tet was the best challenge he went up against in college, and McMillan made it look easy when Hunter was trying to cover him. And when was the last time Patriots had a 6'5" receiver that could probably draw so many penalties when you're just chucking it down the field to him too?
Yeah, I've watched McMillan. Jed Fish was the coach there at one point, so maybe they have some intel on that. But I think he's the 3rd selected wide receiver in the draft. I think it's going to be Hunter, it'll be Golden, and then it's going to be Tet McMillan.
Yeah, either way, I just can't wait. And we're not, as a Patriots fan, I'm not used to being in love with the draft, but for the past 2 years, I have been, addicted to it. Before that, I just never cared because we didn't really need to with Brady and Belichick. So it's fun, though. I'm excited about it.
All right, Chris, well, enjoy your pizza. Brent is in Somerset. Hey, Brent.
Hey, Joe. What's up?
Yo.
Always loved your show. I was just calling about the Patriots draft. Even though I'm a Packers fan, I still follow the local team because my family are all huge Patriots fans, and I do want to see them do good. But about the draft, I was thinking BPA, best player available, will probably coincide with their need. No offense, but they actually, probably need a lot of players to be competitive again. And Travis Hunter probably is their best option because he can play both cornerback and wide receiver. But I heard a lot of teams see him as a cornerback mostly because good cornerbacks are hard to find, and you can get a good receiver, in the second, third round.
Oh, can you?
That'll help you.
Oh, okay. Well, that hasn't been the case. History will tell you that the Patriots have tried to draft guys in the second, and the Patriots' only success in drafting a wide receiver in the second round was Deion Branch, and that was a long time ago. Yep. They haven't been success. I mean, if you think Pop Douglas has been a success, he was a 6th round pick. They need talent. And although you may read what scouts say or what you hear on the radio, I will just tell you this. Take my word for it. You don't have to. I don't care, actually. I don't care if you care what I have to say or not. Travis Hunter is an exceptional athlete and a great football player. And I think if he was a defensive back, he'd play defensive back. And if he was a wide receiver, he'd be a wide receiver. So on the Patriots, he would be probably their best wide receiver. I think he is absolutely dynamic. And if they got Travis Hunter, Drake May and Travis Hunter, we'd have political signs. May Hunter, 25, baby. Just like Brady DeMoss. Start it back up, baby. That's how confident I am about his ability. All right, I did want to get into the Bruins and what happened with Jeremy Swayman last night. We're not going to have enough time to do it though. But for those who missed it, we were robbed last night of something great. Absolutely robbed. Also, we did have the Patino versus Calipari matchup, which to me was the highlight of this NCAA tournament that I don't know how many people really have been watching or paid attention, but it's been a little disappointing. So we'll take it into the next hour here. I did want to get into some Red Sox stuff as well. Feel free to call in 617-779-0985. This hour of the Sports Hub has been brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com. You can save 15% off your next drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. We're here until 9:30 tonight before we hand things over to Grandy and Max, and then the Celtics are in Sacramento tonight. I'm Joe Murray. We got the next hour of the show coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Rubbing match in front of the net as Husnudinov had his helmet knocked off.
Husnudinov got knocked into Kemper. Kemper took exception, grabbed him. Then the helmet got ripped off. Jeremy Swayman's at center ice challenging Kemper right now.
Kemper's going to skate out to meet him. And there they go. They're going to drop the gloves if the referee will let them. Referee's grabbing Swayman. Wiseman's grabbing a hold of Kemper. Crowd is irate.
Why?
They both wanted it.
Why? You got everybody in this building standing on their feet right now.
Unbelievable.
There. That's what I would do. You know what else Joe Murray would do? Jeff, you'd appreciate this one. Is it a travesty that the refs got involved in this? You would agree, yes, right? That when a goalie goes to the ice and takes his mask off and the other guy is ready to go, everyone should get out of the way. If the goalies want to fight, that should be like there's like in every sport, right? There's unwritten rules. If the goalies want to go at it, everyone should just get out of the way.
Yeah.
Free
for all.
Just done. Because now it's like you're hitting your stick and you're like, yeah. And they got pads on. I mean, it's like, I always wanted to fight in a sumo outfit, you bump the bellies, you know what I mean? But like, if goalies want to go at it, get out of the way, refs.
Especially when you get that reaction from the crowd. Like, they wanted it bad.
They wanted it bad. That was because that was what they would have gotten. They would have gotten their team to score 7 goals in a goalie fight. And that's all they would have taught. I've said this a million times. The guy, when I went to broadcasting school, John Anik was my teacher. Everybody knows John now as the play-by-play announcer for UFC fighting, him and Joe Rogan. But he said this to me. He goes, Joe, you could have Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan playing one-on-one at the park. But if there's a fight at the park, what's everybody watching? It's the fight. It's the fight. Now, that's my take on just the refs getting involved out. I have a take on Swayman, but I need to get this one out of the way as a human. Jeff, when I do the show, you worked with me for years. I like to be relatable because, I've worked. Jeff, you worked today, right? You probably did a 9 to 5, and here you are at night, right? Yes. That's what I mean. I was that guy, and I would do part-time radio, and then eventually now I'm full-time radio, and I try to relate things to people with like this new Celtics ownership. Changes are coming. I don't care what happens. Any job you've ever worked, when a new owner comes in, changes. Whether it's KPI, whether it's more calls, whether it's remote, whatever it is, something is changing. But this one, when it comes to two goalies fighting or fighting in general, in life, we all fight in different ways. We fight emotionally, we fight physically, we fight with our words, whatever. But in that case, Jeff Williams, I'm going to tell you right now that if I really wanted to fight somebody, there is no way that old-ass ref is holding me back. All right? In any of that case, the refs broke it up, but no way were any of those refs stopping me if I wanted to fight. So, that's my first take, is that Swayman, I know you don't want to, I'm not saying hit an official, because that's not what you would do. What you would do is you would shoo them. You would shoo them away. Shoot. I'm going right at them. We're wrestling fans, right? You ever see when all the 700 security members come to break up Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, but all of a sudden they're just still going at each other all the time?
My friend has done that before.
That is me. I'm not sorry, Trent, I love you. Jeff, I love you. But if you guys were holding me back, I'm blowing you guys out of the water.
That's agreed. I'm not denying that one bit.
All right? And I've learned a long time ago I don't break up fights anymore because the day I got punched in the face breaking up a fight, I was it. I'm out. Okay? But sorry, Jeremy Swayman getting held back by that ref, that's on Swayman. Out on him.
So you're saying he was being a fake tough guy? He's lucky he's holding me back. He's lucky he's holding me back.
The other guy didn't even take off his helmet. So I'm just telling you right now, nobody's holding me back if I really want to fight somebody. So if Jeremy Swayman really wanted to fight, I think he would have shooed the refs away. Shoo! Let's go! Do I need to take the shirt off too? Because I'll do it. Tell me you've seen a guy take his shirt off to fight before, right? Like we.
Absolutely, yes. Dude, I was out in California and this kid who I just met, we got into a fight with these people. He ripped off his shirt and was like, I'm on fire. Who wants to get burned? I'm like, this is insane. Yeah, I've seen it.
So anyways, that was my like real feelings on it. Was like, there's no way anybody's holding me back. Like, nope. So I had to get that one out of the way. I've been holding that one all day long.
I can tell.
All day long, I've been like, I've heard everybody's reaction. I watched the clip 5 times. No, we should see if you can find this one. See if you can find the Tim Thomas fight from years ago. I think Johnston was on the call that night for Gauche.
You're correct. Yep.
I think he was. Yeah, see if you can find that during while we talk here. But that was my first takeaway, is that if Jeremy Swayman, the refs getting involved, sorry, refs. Sorry, but shoo! Out of my way. Plus, I don't know, how many goals did he give up at that point? Take out your frustrations. Show you care. Don't say it after the game because nobody believes you. If there's one person this year on the Bruins who went into business for himself, there's no doubt about it. It's Jeremy Swayman. He went into business for himself. And now his own teammates, and I'll say this. Let me get this out of the way, too. The way that the Bruins set up this season, it's on them. Maybe they had a plan. Maybe they thought it would go a certain way. But the fact that Swayman was restricted, they traded Allmark, they didn't extend Marchand, and didn't extend Montgomery was an absolute terrible way to start a year where you went out and spent money in free agency. You tried to build up your farm system by getting a first-round pick for trading Allmark when really you could have kept both guys. Instead, you lost your identity. And instead, you actually caved in to Jeremy Swayman and gave him the extra money, which we all wanted. So we're guilty in this one, too. We wanted it. They did it. Know what happened, though? The coach questioned the goalie. Brad Marchand questioned the goalie. And you know what? Both of those guys were standing on ground that Swayman all along wanted. Those guys, Jim Montgomery probably deserved an extension here. Sweeney put it on Montgomery, which, good. Now that I look at it, why would Montgomery want to stick around for this? Marchand always wanted to stay here. And you know what? Marchand was going to get his $6 million because somehow the Bruins thought he was still worth that. But you know what? They did him a solid. They sent him to Florida. You know what happened to Swayman? He got paid. And you know what's going on with Swayman now? He is a platoon goalie. He's a platoon goalie, and that's what he is now. There's 10 games to go. I'd play him in every game. And real quick, and Jeff, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, bro. But the Zadorov stuff. I am not a fan of Zadorov. I'm going to tell you that right now. I think he's slow. I don't think he's the best hockey player. I think his penalty minutes have been bad. But you know what, though? Since the trade deadline, and since that broken stick incident on the ice where he blew the game, he has turned on. For me, he's turned into a better player. He's become a leader. I don't know if what he said was leadership by any means, which you'll hear in a second here. But for some reason, I don't know if that's the game where he became a Bruin, because he started hitting guys. He started making his presence known. So I'm curious how the players felt about Jeremy Swayman last night at center ice trying to fight the other goalie because of something that happened to one of his teammates. And, well, this is what Nikita Zadorov said.
Nikita, felt like the effort, execution, pacing was there. Where do you feel like, and energy rather, where do you feel like this one turned for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, everything goes in. It's embarrassing, obviously. How many times we get beat by this team scores 7 goals on us this year, so it's definitely unacceptable. That's not what we're looking for. It's, I mean, not much to say after this one, for sure.
Do you guys appreciate that Jeremy stuck up for Musings?
Is that what it is? Okay. I don't know. No comment.
Now, I put the end of that in the Slack channel earlier. The beginning of that, that's the first I've heard of that. Oof. That makes it even worse.
The one that you sent me earlier was just a question about did you appreciate that he stuck up for you? I didn't hear the beginning part.
Neither did I. It wasn't a part of that video that I had sent. That's actually, oh boy.
The way I interpreted that was, because if you listen to the beginning, he goes, everything just goes in.
It's embarrassing.
And then he did say it's embarrassing. And then he goes, it's 7 goals. How many times have we given up 7 goals? And I can tell you this, Jeff, because this is, I have a lever always ready to pull. You know, I'm going to pull it right now. The Bruins have 1 win in games where they've given up 4 goals or more this entire season. And you know how many times it's happened? Almost 30. It's like high 20s. I'll say 27, just to throw it out there. It's because of him. Now, has Korpisalo, he had a bad opening night. He might have gave up 4 goals here and there. Like, Korpisalo's been pretty solid. I have to admit that. And it's weird, but I don't want to use this as like a takeaway of the season, but they do play better in front of Korpisalo than they do Swayman. And I do think that maybe the way that the guys prepared for this season and the way that Swayman prepared for this season, the fact that he's a younger player who demanded money when other guys are trying to get like now Zadorov talking like that, he's a newcomer. How does he feel about Swayman? It didn't sound good at all.
If you really look back on the reports, too, of what Swayman was looking for, it was a stupid amount of money.
This is what I wrote from that. Everything goes in, the amount of goals. He was asked if he appreciated it, and he goes, is that what it was? Huh. I know. Marchand has been... It was reported somewhere that Marchand might have been the issue. May I just remind everybody that Marchand is gone? Marchand's gone. So for the people who said Marchand was the issue, it's still going right now. Marchand's gone. Marchand is gone, just in case you didn't know. The Bruins still stink, and they still give up a lot of goals. But no way you're holding my ass back. I'll tell you that right now. I want to fight somebody. See ya. You're all going down. You're all going down. You know, this is why I look back at Tuukka Rask now, by the way. He was damn good. You know, did he have his quirks? Yes. But you know what, though?
So did Thomas.
But nobody in the locker room ever felt this way that I felt. You know, even when Rask made a family decision to leave the bubble, I think some people looked at it. Most of the guys in that room defended him. Most of them all did. And who'd they go with? Halak?
Yeah, Halak.
It sucks because Jeremy Swayman, I know he started 11 games heading into the playoffs last year. He's a platoon goalie. He's a platoon goalie. And until I see otherwise, I'm going to hold that against him all summer long, baby. Nobody is holding me back, though. I'm telling you that. All right, we'll hit a break. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
All right, back here on 98.5 The Sports. I'm Joe Murray. Full show tonight. For those that are watching on our YouTube channel, you'll see I got the Surfside iced tea and vodka signs. Today is National Cheesesteak and National Cocktail Day, so we're celebrating with a surf and turf, a cheesesteak, and a Surfside. All month long, Surfside's highlighting cheesesteak and Surfside combos at hundreds of bars and restaurants across the country. Go to drinksurfside.com/surfside surf and turf to see participating locations near you. And if you're a bar or restaurant owner, register your establishment at a participating surf and turf location at drinksurfside.com/surfside surf and turf. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly. Again, Finnegan's, thank you tonight. Courtesy of Surfside. Finnegan's brought us some steak and cheeses, which I liked, and I've already had one half of it. They're over in Hudson, so thanks to them in Surfside for the old partnership here. Absolutely outstanding. I was just thinking about, I don't know why I was just thinking about fights during the break, and I just think the look alone of Swayman letting someone say, no, we're breaking this up. Like, the look alone was bad. The look alone. And, in a way, let's just hypothetically say they fought and Swayman, looked bad in it. We'd almost sit here today and be like, you know what? I hope he's humbled. Right? I hope he's humbled. Instead, we're looking at him because it never happened as... At least I am saying, dude, that was soft. That's the goaltender of the Bruins, everybody. The goaltender of the Bruins, whose last 4 starts have been horrific, who's 0-4-0 with an .815 save percentage and 6 goals against on average. He's had 88 saves on 108 shots. That stinks. I'm sorry. 20 goals allowed. Out. You stink. If we were down at the park and somebody gave up 20 shots, 20 goals on 88 saves, out. You stink. Jeff, you'll be putting the pads on next.
Well, I usually put the pads on to begin with, so I'd be the one getting taken out.
But you know what, though? That stinks. I know that, listen, the team is struggling. They basically threw up the white flag. And, I'm so glad I have been saying this. I have been saying for weeks, they're closer to the lottery than they are the playoffs, and that is a fact. They're 4 points out of the bottom 5 position of the draft. So the draft lottery odds continue to get better for the Bruins. So I'd play Swayman the rest of the way. Sway rest of the way. I think I said that last year too. While Allmark, no other goalie in the league has worse stats during this stretch right now. So they trade away all the guys, but Swayman got worse somehow. Anyways, the Red Sox are finalizing their roster, everybody. 3 days away from opening day. We'll do a big preview. Christian Campbell, the number 4 prospect in all of Major League Baseball, will be the second baseman on opening day. So this is what I have. I'll look up FanGraphs and what they have as well for a depth chart for the Red Sox. But I think that they wanted this to happen. I think they wanted Christian Campbell to be the second baseman. Vaughn Grisham, I thought, would at least stick around, but he got sent down. So Bregman's playing third. I think that's what most people wanted. And Devers is going to be the DH. So right now, this is what the batting lineup looks like. Jarren Duran in left. Rafael Devers batting second, the DH. Alex Bregman's third. Tristan Casas will be the first baseman cleanup hitter, followed by Trevor Story at short. They're going to move Christian Campbell behind Story and in front of Abreu, who will play right. Connor Wong will be the catcher, and then Ceddanne Rafaela, who had a very nice camp, will be the starting center fielder and the 9-hitter. Now, they'll have some bench players. Romy Gonzalez will be their corner guy, while David Hamilton can be their utility infielder. Rob Ruffschneider will be their right-handed hitter against lefties. And, well, I don't know much about Carlos Narvaez, but you know what? He played for San Francisco last year, or was it the Yankees last year? Here's where things get a little interesting. Garrett Crochet will be the opening day starter. He's a lefty. Tanner Houck, Walker Buehler. The number 4 spot will go to Richard Fitz. Most of you know him as Dick Fitz. He'll be the 4th starter, and local guy Sean Newcomb will be the 5th starter for the Red Sox this year. He signed as a free agent from Oakland. He's a lefty, so he beat out Quinn Priester for the 5th spot. Aroldis Chapman's going to be the closer. Liam Hendricks, Justin Slayton. I think they're pretty strong back there. Maybe they miss Chris Martin, but Slayton should take the next step. Garrett Whitlock wants to pitch a lot. He'll be in the bullpen. It's the first time they've actually locked him in as a bullpen guy. I know he's been bouncing around from starter to bullpen, but now he can really focus on that. Greg Weissert's electric. I really think their bullpen will be their strongest, and I think it's going to be their strongest from all the struggles that they've had years back. But Justin Wilson's another lefty out of the bullpen. We know what Brendan Brandino can do. He can also be an opener as well, and Zach Kelly has made the roster. So Yoshida will start the year on the disabled list. So won't Brian Bayo, Cutter Crawford. Lucas Giolito had a minor league start today, and he was great. Chris Murphy, and then Sandoval I don't think we'll see until the end of the year. He was a free agent signing from the Angels. So that's essentially your lineup for the Red Sox this year. I think the toughest thing for the Sox this year is going to be how Alex Cora manages everything. I know in 2018 he did an absolutely excellent job. But when you have personalities with contracts such as Garrett Crochet, guys like Rafael Devers, young players like Campbell, I think it's hard to manage all the personalities. Now, that 2018 team, they were built to win a championship. But things get tough, right? The Tristan Casas extension. A lot of things going on with the team this year. I think they got the right guy. I want to say that. I think they have the right guy. But I don't think Cora has been great over the last couple of years. And my excuse has been, well, look what he's been given. Well, I'll tell you, this year, I think he's been given a pretty good roster. I think he's been given a roster that was competitive and serious about playing in the postseason. I've been using the term, what could possibly go wrong? A lot. What if a pitcher goes down? What if Story can't be the guy? So Marcelo Mayer was outstanding in spring training. He probably deserved a roster spot. They wanted to continue to let him play, so that's probably why he'll play up in Worcester this year. But to me, that is the guy I want going forward. So they're going with Christian Campbell. But if Story goes down, I hope they don't hesitate to put Marcelo Mayer right back at shortstop. Campbell, Mayer, I'd like it. I wonder how Cora manages this whole entire season. I think there's a lot on the line for Cora. He's had the benefit of the doubt because of the roster. This year, the roster's improved. I'm expecting playoffs. I'm expecting it. But everything has to go right. What could go wrong? We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. I did want to just take a quick look at the NCAA tournament and react to the weekend. Calipari, Patino, outstanding. We'll get a quick look at the Sports Hub headlines. We got in or out at the end of the hour as well, and we'll talk with John Serenes from New England Football Journal. He was at the BC Pro Day today. We'll get an update on that. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Essentials.
All right, back here 98.5 The Sports. I'm Joe Murray. I'm just getting everything out of the way. If you want to do more Patriots, we can. I just had an opening thought. Hit on some Celtic stuff. The Jeremy Swayman stuff was live, and Red Sox opening day is just 3 days away. So wanted to just touch on everything from the weekend. If you want to call in about anything at all, 617-779-0985. What's up to everybody on YouTube? I see the brokerage babe is in there. Einbein, Russ Fox, all the crew. Bruins Luchador is in there. I'm sure he was all fired up for a goalie fight the other night. We got Tom G. Everybody, all the regulars are in here tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us. Bunch of people watching. Appreciate you. Do want to thank the 18 to 49 crowd that listens to the show. I can tell that we have a lot of younger audience listening. So even though the 25 to 54 is the only one that counts, I just wanted to thank those that don't. We got in or out coming up in just a little bit, but the NCAA tournament. You know, Jeff, I'll bring you in on this. How do you feel about John Calipari and Rick Pitino?
In 2025,
like, what pops in your brain when I
us.
say it? Like, what pops in your brain when I say those two guys?
Oh, I honestly think of UMass and Kentucky and the Celtics.
In a way, I think, like, I don't want to use the word scoundrels. Is that,
Yeah, no, they're dirtbags.
All right, there you go. Somebody had to win this weekend. I thought it was Pitino's team. I did. I thought that Rick Pitino and St. John's were the better roster. It turns out John Calipari, no matter what you think about the guy, here's the deal. John Calipari will go to the Hall of Fame. Everybody does. In my opinion, though, John Calipari is probably a better recruiter than he was a basketball coach. So I do think that there is a place for great recruiters in history. I do. But here's another one, Jeff, for you. Who is more important to the game of basketball, in your opinion? John Calipari or Rick Pitino?
I'm going to go with Calipari.
Me too. Good answer. He did more for UMass. Despite them losing and getting revoked their Final Four appearances, I would have, besides Dr. J and Bill Cosby, do you remember anything about UMass? You know, Marcus Camby, Lou Rowe. That was it. And it was Calipari who found him. Have you ever been to UMass Amherst before? What is there to do out there?
Nothing.
How do you encourage somebody from Brooklyn, from these great SEC country, like states, you know what I'm saying? How do you tell somebody who's the best player at Kentucky, in the state of Kentucky, to come to UMass Amherst? How?
Yeah, you're not coming to Boston.
Now, they got in trouble for it. They were accountable for it. They got their stuff revoked. But you know what? Calipari, we're still talking about what he did at UMass. Still, to this day. Because you know what? No one's done anything since. I like Frank Martin. Great coach. He's there now, and I love that, and he's a friend of the show, so I want to shout him out. But Calipari has done more. Now, when we think Pitino, people don't remember all the, he failed with the New York Knicks, obviously failed with the Celtics. He was with Providence. Like, you name all that. He's got a lot of local ties here. Well, when he went to Louisville, he had some issues there, too. Controversies, scandals, the way he was recruiting. He got in trouble for it. And you know what happened? They kicked him out. He went to Greece. He had to rehabilitate himself. He wanted to coach so bad he went to Iona, which is like one of the small schools who made the tournament 2 years in a row. And then he's back on top at St. John's. Like, when I think of those two, right, they stand the test of time.
If you look at Pitino's numbers from when his first season, then his second season, and his third season, it's an emulation basically, where it's the same records, and he just gets progressively better each year. He's done it with 4 different teams.
And both of these guys have won or have gone to, like, Pitino's had national championships taken away. Well, so hasn't Calipari. Like the Derrick Rose story in Memphis, Derrick Rose never took his SATs. Somebody else did. And I'm sorry, but like, when do you When do we say, you know what, Calipari, good job on that one? Or like I mentioned know how they got recruits at Louisville? Do you know what he was doing? Do I have to say it out loud?
Sure.
Did you ever see He Got Game?
Yes, no, I know exactly.
Remember Ray Allen in bed? That's what happened. Patino did that. That happened. They've all been accountable for it. They all paid their price, right? Do you know what? John Calipari put so many guys from Kentucky into the NBA. All of them. Now, that guy every year, one and done. Anthony Davis, one and done. Like, they were undefeated for so long, they lost in the tournament. So that's why I say, is Calipari a great coach? I don't know. But you know what? He outcoached Rick Pitino this weekend. A number 10 seed Arkansas who played in a really tough SEC conference. I won't bore you with the details, but a 10th seed, the highest seed remaining in the bracket this year, is Arkansas. And do you know how he got brought over to Arkansas? The owners of Tyson Chicken. They said, hey, John, come here. And he did. Do you know that all the new coaches who left schools to go to other schools, 4 of them are in the Sweet 16 right now? I'm going to still to this day, I'll say it. Coaching is what's important at the college level. I know Tom Izzo lost, but he got him there, right? Michigan with Dusty May, no one thought Michigan would be here. They're here. Nobody thought Arkansas would be here. They're here. I still think the coach matters in college sports, and I'm just twisting this a little bit to keep it local. Bill Belichick's at North Carolina. North Carolina got into the tournament. I think it was smelly and sketchy. Bubba Cunningham was part of the selection staff and got $100,000 if they got in. Well, they got in, they won their game, and then they got bounced. But it's still rules. Coaches rule in college. And I think it's going to be a big year for one Bill Belichick. But Calipari got the best of Pitino. By the
How
way,
disappointed were you in '96 when he lost to Pitino in the Final Four?
Bro.
I was breaking stuff. I was so mad.
You know what got me more mad than anything? Was that poser, Big Country Reeves. Yeah. That guy sucks. They lost to that guy. And you know, I'll never forget this, but I remember saying, like, during the game when it was on, I was a kid. What did I know? I go, you know what? They should let Canby, like, maybe try to take Big Country one-on-one. I remember, like, saying that, like, at the time, like, maybe he could, because they can't get inside, because Big Country, I remember Big Country dunked all over them that night. Have you heard from Big Country Reeves since then?
No, who did he get drafted to Vancouver? And then just, like,
there you go.
He's probably still up there.
I bet you there are people in our chat who are like, I haven't heard the name Big Country Reeves. And you know what? Let's look him up. We got in or out coming up next anyways, right? Big Country Bryant Reeves. Is that his name? Big Country Bryant. Yep, Big Country Bryant Reeves. Whoa, big boy. Oh, he was a true 7-footer. I didn't know that. 7 foot tall, nicknamed Big Country, from Oklahoma State. He's listed at 290 pounds. I don't know about that. But yeah, was a star at Oklahoma State, averaged 22 points per game as a senior, led them to the Final Four. He was the first ever draft choice of the Vancouver Grizzlies at 6th overall, 1995. Wow, he played 6 seasons in the NBA. I did not know that. He averaged 13 points per game. 16 his second year. He got a 6-year, $61 million cut. See, nobody knew what basketball was in Vancouver back then. He had like 4 good seasons. He had 40.
Scored a career-high 41 points against Boston.
There you go. He was the first and last player ever to wear number 50 before Zach Randolph, which got retired, which is a weird retirement. Zach Randolph got his number retired. Weight control was his issues. Poor weight control all the time. I didn't realize. So he wasn't a bum. To us, he's a bum, but he wasn't a bum. And his career average is 12.5 points per game. 7 rebounds. That's not bad for a career. Finding Big Country. There was a documentary. Maybe I should pull that up some night, huh? Anyways, all right. Well, we got In or Out. It's coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
I forget the lyrics. Blah, blah, blah. So it's National Cheesesteak Day, everybody. National Cocktail Day today. I thought cheesesteak was incredible. Thanks to our friends over at Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka. In celebration of National Cheesesteak Day and National Cocktail Day, celebrate with a surf and turf. A cheesesteak and a Surfside all month long. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka, highlighting cheesesteak and Surfside combos at hundreds of bars and restaurants. Go to drinksurfside.com/Surfside Surf and Turf to see participating locations near you. And if you're a bar or a restaurant owner, you can register your establishment as a participating Surf and Turf location at surfside.com/Surfside Surf and Turf. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly. All right, Jeff Williams tonight in for Skaz. What do we got tonight?
All right, well, we'll start it off with a pretty simple one since you already just did the plug. Are you in or out of International Cheesesteak Day or cheesesteaks in general?
In, but all right, let's have a conversation about it. In's the answer. When you, I'm actually kind of curious on Trent's idea on because Philly guy, I know nothing about. Jeff, when you order a steak and cheese, right? What's the correct way to order a steak and cheese?
Like in terms of like what you put in it? Type of cheese?
I'm asking you.
I would I'm a plain guy. I just need steak and American cheese.
Yep, me too.
Not a big onions and peppers guy, mushrooms, nothing.
When I was a kid, I didn't know any better. I used to put ketchup on it. Then as I got older, I started seeing weird combinations, like people would put pickles in there. And then the steak bombs, obviously, the onions and peppers.
Like everything, yeah.
But that is kind of a controversial thing there. What's the correct way to order a steak and cheese?
You're talking type of cheese and everything, too.
Trent, in Philly, how does a steak and cheese, how does it work? What does it come with? Is it Swiss cheese? Or is it that...
Onions, peppers, he says.
Yeah, but not there's not like Cheese Whiz or anything like that? Okay. All right.
He just says a regular American cheese.
So the way that we were eating them is the way that you know it. Okay. All right, then. What do I know?
Not a mushroom guy, though, he said. I told him my history on mushrooms.
Remember, he's an intern. I sometimes forget, Jeff. The other night we were doing, just in case you didn't know this, but the new Celtics owner. Did you tell him this?
Yeah, he smartened me up on this.
So let's just say that I did a whole segment on humping. And I sometimes forget that we work with interns.
He's a child.
All right, what do we got next?
All right, so there was a commercial recently with the cast of The Office in it. Are you in or out on a reboot on The Office?
All right. I'm out. I heard about this. The other day that there's some sort of like Office commercial that's going to be. I saw it last night. I'm out. Hated it. What's the girl's name with the red hair that got hit by the car by Michael?
Is it Meredith?
Meredith. Okay, she was kind of like the lead, but Dwight was in it, and I hated it. Out.
Well, you said earlier Dwight is Dwight. He can't be anything else.
Yeah, okay. The whole cast of The Office, nobody has been able to really be successful, right? Like Krasinski, if you want to say that making money after The Office, he did. Okay, fine. Out, though. Nard Dog, right? He's done some stuff, right? He was in a couple of movies. What else? Who else? Stanley? Has he done anything? What about
the guy with the tooth and the Hangover?
Yeah,
he's actually done something.
Yeah, he's done something. I'll give him that. All right.
Ed Helms.
There's been other people on the show that were in there. The main characters, though, no. Like I think of Seinfeld, right? Jerry Seinfeld could do things after. Julie Louis-Dreyfus has done things. George Costanza did things after. Jason Alexander. The other guy could have, but he got in trouble. So
yeah, Kramer's still canceled, unfortunately.
What were all those calls for just now, Trent? He doesn't know. Okay, good.
Trent's getting into fights.
The phone line just blew up. Sometimes there is giveaways in other places. I think.
I think that's what the case is with the contest line. Yes,
but we're the only ones here. I know we just work here. Anyways, the reboot out. I don't even want
the cartoon that.
I'm sorry. I don't even want what's his name back.
Who's that?
Michael Scott out.
You're all done with him?
Done.
On the character itself?
After the wedding of Dwight at the Schrute Farms, out.
All right, so the king of the cutaway jokes, Family Guy, had Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports on doing a pizza review. One bite, everybody knows the rules. Are you in or out on Portnoy on Family Guy?
I'm going to say in on this one.
I've been out on Family Guy for a while now, though. It's just the same jokes over and over and over.
So it's weird. Growing up, it was South Park or Family Guy, right? Because
I know Simpsons.
Well, the Simpsons are. See, the thing with the Simpsons is, you watch wrestling every week, right?
Yes.
The Simpsons are what they are. Like, you watch the Simpsons knowing what you're going to get, right? You're going to get a storyline. You're going to get a character. You're going to get some other outside characters involved. There's, they're always doing something. It's like wrestling. Like, sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't, but you keep watching, but you might tie. Family Guy was like, it reminds me of that time when, and then it's funny, right?
It was funny the first 3,000 times they did it.
South Park's taking it somewhere else. Like, South Park really knows how to get into, like, storylines of life. I'll still never forget the COVID edition. What was that called? That one, I don't think
Pandemic special.
The pandemic special I haven't recovered from. I haven't recovered from that one. Because I credit them for the outstanding writing, but sometimes I just, how there's like, the line stepper. That show really knows how to ride the line, bro. Like, it's like they can get away with it, but then they swerve back. That show is like close.
Comedy Central gives them the freedom, and they kind of know, how far they can go before they are, told like, hey, all right, ease it back.
So the reason why I like the Portnoy pizza review is, I'll give Dave credit. Like, he did something that's gotten viral that everybody's into. For the most part, he's been very charitable to a lot of these companies, and I do like when he goes to a place that I know. So, like, when he came to the North Shore, he went to my favorite place, Volo. Might have called it Volvo, but, he went.
He went to a place near me that I think still is, like, packed on the daily.
Garlic Breath. Garlic Breath is Joni's, though. The one they went there, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I one time tried to get a pizza with, like, 3-hour wait. So... And then there's the people who don't like what he does, like that Dragon Pizza guy who got in trouble again this week. So anyways, I think it's good, the collaboration, because we know Family Guy. I might not watch or know when it's on, but seeing the viral clip, I see why they did it. So in a way, it's like maybe they're trying to get a little bit more into the everyday watcher and adding it to their show, which I think South Park does very well. So I'm in on it, and good for Barstool. For those who don't like Barstool, I think this was good for them.
All right, so we'll stay on a food topic here. Dan Orlovsky had a nice tweet out earlier where he said the most overrated breakfast food, English muffins. The most underrated, Eggo waffles.
Well, let's discuss. Are you in or out on English muffins?
I love English muffins.
Me too. I'm in. Do you think the Eggo waffle is underrated? Because think about it. It might be because the only way you can really have a waffle is if putting it in a machine or making them, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that it's frozen and you can just heat it up, is that a great invention? Yes.
I mean, it saved my butt a few times with my daughter growing up.
I love Eggos. I love English muffins. What is the worst? You know what I like, but I could care less about? Croissants. I like a croissant. Don't get me
I
wrong.
don't like it for the morning.
I don't want it all over my shirt and my beard. Right? You got it in your beard.
Yes, no, that is it.
That's what I'm out on. I don't want the crummies.
Well, it's like I had a egg and bacon biscuit from McDonald's this morning, and that thing crumbled all over me, got all over in my beard and stuff.
Now I'm looking up worst bread for breakfast sandwich.
I'd say a biscuit, even though they're delicious.
Oh, I love a biscuit.
Oh, a chicken biscuit from Chick-fil-A?
Oh. There's just a butter. And then you grab a brush and butter it up.
But they get everywhere.
They don't stay together for the kids. It breaks. You're right. I love a biscuit, but it's gonna break. They should just call it biscuits that break. You know. Cheddar biscuits. You ever had the cheddar biscuit from Red Lobster?
I have not.
Okay, I went to Red Lobster once in my life. Once, and it was at Fort Myers, Florida, right near JetBlue Park. Those cheddar biscuits were absolutely unbelievable. But I also like Olive Garden breadsticks. So, like, who am I to judge if it's good or not? Like, give me a Bertucci roll all day long.
Oh, all day with the oil.
Do you know who's number one, though? Not your average Joe's bread with the oil and the cheese. Ah!
I've always been a fan of the Cheesecake Factory's bread, too.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And it's like they got this little, like, rye raisin. Well, you know what I don't understand? You ever get the bread with, it's like a tortilla chip? It's like a chip. And
These
it's like,
are tortillas.
Is this bread? It reminds me of the Eucharist. Again, I went to Catholic school, so that's what I think of. Yeah, Cheesecake Factory's got some good bread, bro. I'll tell you that right now. Maybe I should do you know what? Maybe we should do a Joey's Tiers of Bread some night. You know what I was talking about this weekend was bread bowls, clam chowder bread bowls. Who makes a bread bowl anymore?
Panera. Pretty much it.
Is it? Okay, Panera's right across the street. Love you guys. You guys have great iced tea and lemonade. I'm a supporter. But sometimes it reminds me of hospital food. Did I whisper that?
A little bit.
Does it remind you of that sometimes?
Oh, yeah, it definitely has that vibe.
Like,
especially when you walk into one of them.
Feeling well. Can you get me a chicken noodle from Panera? Here, that's what it reminds me of. So I'm never like urged, like, oh, I really want that chicken noodle today from. Right, you know that across the street from us, we have a Five Guys, Chipotle, we have a Panera, we have a pizza joint. We've got a convenient. We got everything. Right,
There's still a Wendy's and a McDonald's a little bit further down too. A Moe's.
I'm in. Is it underrated? Probably because. But you know what? I know I'm ranting now. The thing that changed the game for me, honestly, pizza bagels.
Pizza rolls too, I would say too, in that same aspect.
But when pizza's on a bagel,
you can have pizza anytime.
Anytime. That changed the game for me, bro.
How many times did you see that commercial?
Pizza in the morning,
paid
pizza
for by the
in
following.
the evening, pizza at supper time. When pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime. All right, Jeff, let's go. What else have we got?
All right, so spring training's still going on. A Blue Jays fan was caught mooning the camera while I think it was his girlfriend was trying to stop him. She failed. Are you in or out on these spring training antics?
Yeah, I'm in. You know why? Because I want to see how far you could push it.
Yeah, like a harvest moon.
Yeah, you know. And it's spring training, right? Everybody's getting in on the act. Spring training antics, though, like, you know, what we call like Chris Sale being, he did a, who is it, Louis Tiant impersonation. Like, I'll never forget in the 90s, Garth Brooks was playing like right field for the Padres. And I'm going, what the hell is Garth Brooks playing baseball for?
I think Billy Crystal took swings in spring training once.
I'm in on it, but like when the real time happens, I'm out. But a moon. Did I tell you that Skaz has never seen the movie Grease? Have you seen the movie Grease?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Remember when they were on the Sullivan? What show was that they were on? Remember they were on TV and they had the dance
Laverne
up?
and Shirley?
No. Remember on the movie Grease?
Oh.
They were on some TV
the dance?
show.
Yeah.
But remember when they all mooned them?
Yeah.
Like, that's what people do, right? If my buddy Chris, I don't know, he's probably listening. Do you know every time I drove by him in the car, if he was in the shotgun position, I was mooned every single time. It's like if his ass wasn't out the window, I didn't know, I thought something was wrong.
I had a friend that was like that. I had seen his ass more times than I'd probably seen my own.
Yes. And what else?
All right, so it's WrestleMania season. So with that being said, it's also Hall of Fame season for the WWE. They announced their next inductees. It's the team of Earthquake, Typhoon, former WWF Tag Team Champions, the Natural Disasters.
And I have their Hasbros. Go to Joey Hasbro on X. You can see my whole entire collection. So, the Natural Disasters are in as a tag team. Earthquake should have been in as a superstar. For those who don't know who Typhoon is, he was Tugboat. But what was he most known for?
This would be after the fact when he became the Shockmaster in WCW, and his debut crashed right through the stage and fell on his head.
So, was it Haku who left? I'm trying to remember.
No, I think it was Sid, actually.
Sid, no, but no. Actually, it was recently. Haku did a interview recently because his kid is who?
I couldn't
did
tell
he
you.
adopt?
They're all related.
Well, no. I think he's Tamatonga, and
probably.
I think he adopted them or half brother. I don't know, something to that degree. But they showed the Shockmaster. I've watched Haku laugh. He laughed for 3 minutes straight, dude.
Yeah.
Couldn't. So is now the Shockmaster going to the Hall of Fame?
I mean,
because
yes
is
DX
China? Does China go in? How does that all work out?
Yeah, no, that's how it was because they put her over when they were inducted.
So she's in. So does this mean the Shockmaster's in the Hall of Fame?
Like I said, yes and no.
Yeah. What was the Goldie earthquake? The gold.
Golga.
Golga.
With the oddities.
Yeah. So Golga, the oddity, is in the Hall of Fame. Good for them. Someone wrote, Einbein wrote, greasy food, Grease the movie. Thank you. All right, we'll wrap this up. What else we got here?
All right, so we got movies. Well, I guess TV shows. This is going to be on Peacock, it seems. Friday the 13th is going to do a prequel called Crystal Lake, where I guess it's going to be basically focused on
the mom,
Jason Hoover's mother, who's going to be played by Linda Cardellini.
Jason who? I'm sorry?
Voorhees.
Thank you. I thought you said something else.
I stumbled on that one.
All right, good. And because I really think Friday the 13th, although it's, you watch a horror movie and it's a bunch of kids go to a campground, they get haunted. There's always sex and booze and somebody, it's always somebody lives. The Virgin lives, I think is what it was. But I actually think there is a good storyline about Jason Voorhees and his mom in the lake and all that. I think there's a unknown, and I think it would be good to have a prequel. So I don't know if it will be successful, but I'm interested.
So we got one more. We're going to stay on the horror at the movie topic because I just saw that they're making another Final Destination. The teaser trailer will be out tomorrow. I don't know if you've seen the little brief one that they posted today where a glass shatters near a bucket of ice and a bartender is scooping the ice out, and you can see the shard of glass. So obviously somebody's going to drink it, and it's going to completely cut open their neck, and all sorts of horror will happen. Are you in or out on these Final Destination movies?
Final Destination? I'm out. I've never seen them.
You've never seen a Final Destination?
Dude. I might have seen the first one.
That's when the plane explodes and they sneak off beforehand and all the shenanigans happen.
Is this something I should be into?
Them. Yep.
Should I be into this?
No, because they're just horrible movies because they make you look at everything in your house and say, how's that going to kill me? How's that going to kill me?
Out.
It's too much.
Out.
I'm out too.
How do you feel about the new Matrix?
Oh, I'm out. I wasn't even in on the beginning.
So I got to tell you, the Matrix, that one worked my brain.
I don't need that. I just want to laugh when I watch like movies.
The Matrix. We got to go to break, but The Matrix really I hung in there for all of them because I needed a payoff. Like Neo was the one, but then there was Mr. Anderson, and then it's just a lot going on there. Then Game of Thrones happened, and I got pissed again, and then Lost got me, and so really, in the end, everything just lets me down except for Breaking Bad
and Better Call Saul.
And I loved Better Call Saul. You know why? Because they had endings. People didn't like The Sopranos ending, but you know what? It had an ending. All right, we got to go to break. We probably, you know what? I'm just going to read the headline. The headline would have been brought to you by Valvoline is an oil change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandoilChange.com for 15% off your next draft oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. We'll get an ID. We'll get everything all going, and then we'll take a quick break. We're going to talk to John Serenes as well here on the Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports.
He scored! What?
to look into that, whatever that means. Anyways, a guy knows a little something. His name's John Serenes. He's from New England Football Journal, and he was at the BC Pro Day today, and he joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. John, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing all right. How you guys doing tonight?
We're good. I saw that BC had its Pro Day today. I texted you. I said, are you there? You said you were. So you were amongst Mike Vrabel, Doug Marrone, and other Patriots contingents. What did you make of that? Who else was there, and what was everybody looking at?
Well, I mean, the Patriots had a strong presence. Obviously, Vrabel was there. Elliott Wolf was there. Other members of their front office and scouts were there, as well as other personnel. They had a strong presence, as they should. I mean, it's the FBS school in their backyard. They should be there. I think every head coach, especially if there's a big program in their neighborhood, they should be there for the Pro Day, and they certainly were. Every team in the league had scouts there or talent evaluators. So, I mean, it was a big day for both the prospects and for Boston College, but it was also a big day for the Patriots because, again, when you look at their positions of need, Boston College has a lot of talent in this draft that could potentially fill, I should say, some of the needs that the Patriots have. So, it was no surprise that Vrabel was there. His connection to the program, of course, his son Tyler played there a few years back. It was no surprise that the Patriots had a strong presence there. They need to, again, Boston College has some prospects that could potentially fill some holes. Other thing to keep in mind, of course, Doug Marrone, the new offensive line coach, was at BC last year. Vrabel and Bill O'Brien also go a ways back. So lots of connections there, and I can tell you this, Joe, they had a keen eye on a lot of the prospects working out today.
All right, so before we even talk offense, I know when it comes to Mike Vrabel, defense seems to be the I guess the key of this free agency period, and maybe they look at offense in the draft, but the BC Eagles have a defensive end. If you could tell us a little bit about them rising through the ranks. I know our intern Trent has talked very highly of the defensive end who could be going late first, early second. Tell our listeners about the pass rusher from the Eagles.
Yeah, Donovan Esdaraku had 16.5 sacks last year, ACC Defensive Player of the Year. A lot of upside. He came into Boston College with a lot of hype 4 years ago, and he lived up to that hype, especially last year. He thrived in defensive coordinator Tim Lewis's scheme. He was one of the best defensive players in the country. And when you look at him, Joe, and two things about Donovan. One, having covered him, myself, Kevin Stone, especially Kevin, we've gotten to know him. High character, high class kid. That's the first thing you need to know about him. He is going to walk into any situation and make that locker room better just because he's a great person. But above all that, and that's really in the end what matters to these teams and the fans alike, he's a hell of a football player. And the thing is, he's an explosive, twitchy edge guy with an explosive first step. He can make up ground quickly from the backside. He can play along the line of scrimmage. He's disruptive. He's a playmaker. And he's a guy that if you use him the right way and you cut him loose, especially on second and long and third and long, he's going to make plays for you. So he had an outstanding Senior Bowl week. He had an outstanding combine. Didn't work out today, but he really helped himself a lot coming into today. He has solidified himself, in my opinion, as a first-round pick. I think he's going to go anywhere from 18 to 32. If he falls into the second round, to be honest with you, it's going to be an upset.
You don't think the Patriots would have any interest, do you?
I do. If they go offense at 4, I do believe they're going to look to move back into the first round if the right player is there, and I think they're going to be aggressive in trying to do that. He's a player to keep an eye on, potentially as a guy that they could target if they move back into the first round. But again, a lot of that will obviously depend on what they do with the 4th pick.
All right, talking to John Serenes. He's from New England Football Journal. You can check out their breakdown tonight. Oh, looks like coming up, you and Stoney got yourselves a nice little Pro Day recap I see here.
We've got a Pro Day recap, and then as soon as I get off with you, we're going to do the New England Football Show, and we'll break it down all over again.
Right. Well, where can people watch that again?
So we're live on X, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, and our YouTube page.
There you go. New FTBJ on X for all our listeners out there. All right, let's talk offensive linemen. We know that Bill O'Brien and Mike Vrabel have talked about this pipeline that could be there. I know a little about Ozzie Trapello. I knew his dad years ago. I hear that he's at least an NFL pro, somewhat of a high prospect. But, with the relationship of Doug Marrone, where do you think him and potentially Drew Kendall could end up?
Well, I think Trapello is going to be in play here. There are not many guys that are that size, almost 6'8", 325, 330 pounds, that can move like he can. And I think what he did today, Joe, is he proved one of the biggest knocks on him coming into this draft process was, can he bend naturally? Can he sustain blocks? Can he stay on blocks? And I thought, at least in terms of the on-field work today, I thought he proved he can do that. Now, I think he's a top 60 pick. I think he's going to go in the second round. I've talked to a couple of people that really like him. I think the thing with him is that there are some teams that are looking at him and saying he's strictly a right tackle. There are other teams, however, I've been told, that are looking at him and saying, you know what? He can play on the left side because while he has some work to do as a run blocker, as a pass blocker, the footwork and the lengths are good enough that he could potentially play left tackle. I think regardless of where he ends up, I think he starts his career as a right tackle, but don't be surprised if he eventually works his way to the left side. Remember now, left tackles are becoming more and more, they're harder to find. It's truly become the premium position now. Skill guys, they're pretty easy to find. Quarterbacks, I obviously still take development and finding the right guy, but the other positions you can find. But left tackle is hard. He's a name to keep an eye on, and I do think he could potentially be in play for the Patriots at pick 38. I do not think that would be too high to take him there. I think his sweet spot is anywhere from the top to the middle of the second round.
All right, John, so let's take all the draft stuff out of it. I know it's pro day, and that's what everyone's talking. What was your reaction to maybe the Patriots? Was there any chatter about how they felt about free agency or maybe potentially of who they like elsewhere? What was, I guess, besides the draft and the BC guys, what was some of your takeaways from today?
Well, for one, Mike Vrabel was on the phone when it was announced that they were going to match Christian Ellis's offer from the Las Vegas Raiders. So there was that. He was on the phone. Now, he might not have been doing anything with that. But he looked pretty busy when that news broke. Not a lot of chatter. I've talked to people before today that have told me that internally they're pretty excited about what they've done. And I think that they now look at the draft as an opportunity to fill the rest of the gaps, i.e. offensive line, wide receiver, possibly tight end and running back. I don't think they're done along the defensive line from what I've been told. And they were pretty. One thing that's important to note about today, Joe, they spent a lot of time with the defensive linemen that worked out, but Mike Vrabel was fixated with the offensive linemen. Every Patriot executive outside of Vrabel that was there was locked in on the offensive line group and their on-field workout. So they're going to emphasize the line of scrimmage, but from what I've heard, they're not done on the defensive side of the ball, despite signing Milton Williams and Harold Landry and Spillane and all those guys. They're still going to look to add depth and add another piece inside. So there wasn't much chatter in terms of free agency and what they did, but from what I've been told, their focus is going to be offense in this draft. And that's kind of been out there. Other people have said that as well, but I think it seems to be the universal sentiment.
Was Josh McDaniels there?
He was not. And if I didn't see him, that's not to say he wasn't, but I did not see him.
Okay. I feel like a lot depends on his offense, right? Like, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I wonder if they have the philosophy, John, that, and I don't blame them, because you could do it during the Belichick era, but I don't know. Does Vrabel seem like a guy who's like, I can fix him, or McDaniels is like, oh, we can work on that? Like, because I'm glad you said that he was looking at the line. I'm glad it's important to him because they still don't have a left tackle.
It is important to him, and let's not forget, while he was in Cleveland last year, he worked on the offensive side of the ball with the offensive line and the tight end. So he's obviously got more of a keen eye for those positions, and he knows what he wants more, and he knows what he's looking for. And again, to your point, going into this offseason, when you finding a left tackle, beefing up the offensive line was the top priority. It was their top need. They kind of sort of did that, but they still don't have a left tackle. So, again, they may look at a guy like Ozzie Trapillo and say, you know what? They might be one of those teams that see him as a potential left tackle down the road. And they're going to have an advantage over every other team that's going to evaluate him because of Marrone and Bill O'Brien. They're going to have some inside knowledge on him. And they may be looking at him and saying, no, we can make him a left tackle. We know that the footwork is good enough. We know that the athleticism is there. He's been working with Dante Scarnecchia throughout this offseason, as has Drew Kendall. So, obviously, there's a lot of faith in Scar and the way he teaches. So, again, I'm not surprised that he spent so much time over there with the offensive line today during the on-field workouts. That's priority number one, you can tell. That's why I think this Travis Hunter talk, part of me thinks it could be a smokescreen. I still think offensive line is their priority. It's just a matter of do they take one at 4 or trade down.
All right, John, two-part question. I know you got to go do your podcast. Tell Stoney to relax, all right? But I need this from you. Give me your top 5 players in the draft outside of, draft position, and then what do you think the Patriots will do at 4, who's available at 4, and who should be the pick?
Yeah, so I like Abdul Carter. I have him as the best player in this draft. I have Travis Hunter at 2. I love Will Campbell. I know a lot of people are going to get hung up on the arm length. So what? Even if he has to kick inside at guard, I think he's a Pro Bowl caliber player, an all-pro type of player. You know, and again, you can say what you will about that, but go watch his tape. You know, Will Johnson is a guy that's slipped on a lot of teams' boards, but I still think he's one of the few potential blue-chip kind of guys here. I think he's a top 5 talent in this draft. And number 5 for me, Joe, and I know it's hard to believe in this day and age because the position has been devalued so much, but Austin Genty, I think, is one of the 5 best players in this class. This class is not loaded by any means. We've seen better classes at the top, but forget about the fact that Genty's a running back. Look at the production. Look at the style of play. I think he could potentially go in the top 10. I don't think that's hyperbole. I think he's one of the 5 best players in this draft.
I had Carter, Hunter, Warren, Genty, Ward. Cam Ward, who, I don't know, do you think he's going to the Titans? Do you think that it's a smokescreen to maybe get Cleveland or New York to trade up? What do you think happens there?
I think he goes in the top 5. And I think once Shadur Sanders works out, I think he's a lock to go in the top 10. The thing is, this class isn't great at the top. Ward has upside. Had Ward come out last year, he would have been a first-round pick. But I think Ward is the best quarterback in the class. But Shadur Sanders is the guy that I think is going to swing the top 10 here because he could potentially be in play for anybody in the top 5 not named the New England Patriots. And I think that if Cam Ward goes in the top 3 and he's sitting there at 4, that's when the Patriots' phone could ring and they could potentially have a trade-down scenario. And they could end up getting a bigger haul than we think as a result of that. I think Sanders is going to make a late push. He's going to end up in the top 10, and I think that there'll be 3 or 4 teams that are going to be in on him.
What are the Giants going to do?
Well, the Giants are the wild card at 3. Do they go quarterback? They just signed Jameis Winston. I think if Cam Ward is sitting there, that's the pick in my opinion. But they may also look at this draft and say, you know what, we don't love either guy. We're going to stand pat and take an impact player. Let's say if a Travis Hunter is sitting there, take him, add another piece to that offense. You can pair him up with Malik Neighbors. He can also play some corner for you, either as a full-time corner or in sub packages. He's too good a player to pass up if you're the Giants at 3, if you don't have enough conviction about Ward or Sanders. But something tells me that could be a potential landing spot for a Shadur Sanders because I think that they like him more than people think.
All right, John, he's from New England Football Journal. John, what we got to do, John, is we got to get you in here some night before the draft. We'll do an hour in studio. How about that?
Sounds good, man. You just let me know when, and I'll be there.
Well, I'll shoot you a few dates. Real quick, did you see the Swayman stuff last night?
I did. I mean, he gave up did he give up all 7 goals? I don't know if he got pulled.
I don't know either because I gave up. But my question to you is anyone going to hold you back if you want to beat somebody's ass?
No, but I'm also 50 years old, Joe.
No.
My beating people's asses days are dwindling.
John,
now, if this were 20 years ago, No.
Now, John, I know you probably have to hold some kids back in school every once in a while, all right? So I know you still got it, all right? But
I do, but you got to remember now, they're middle schoolers.
Yeah.
I can't be putting my hands on middle schoolers.
That's true. Yeah.
Can't be hurting. I can't be hurting the future of America here.
Well, no, I'm saying you're breaking them up. You're not throwing down.
But here's the thing. But in the process of breaking them up, I can hurt them.
Yes.
Kids aren't what they used to be, Joe. Yeah. They're not what they used to be. They're not as physically sound. They're not as well built as they were once upon a time. Real quick, congratulations to me and you for getting into the WWE Hall of Fame today, by the way.
Yes. The natural disasters. We just did that a little while ago. Does this mean the Shockmaster is in the Hall of Fame?
Yes. Shockmaster is in the Hall of Fame. Hopefully he doesn't trip when he walks up there to give his speech.
Oh, that'd be classic. I actually now expect it when I see it. All right, John, go do your podcast. Go check him out, everybody. He'll be live on all his socials. New England Football Journal. Go check him out. He's John Serenes. John, appreciate you. I'll send you a text. We'll work out a day, bud.
All right. Always a pleasure, my man. I'll talk to you soon.
You got it. He's John Serenes here on the Sports Hub. We got to take a break. I'm Joe Murray. We'll get to the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, we got the Celtics back in action tonight. They take on Sacramento. All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. We got a Celtics game tonight, everybody. See, there are people walking around the building, and normally I don't see people. Another shout out again to our friends over at Surfside. You got to check this out, man. Surfside iced tea and vodka. Today is National Cheesesteak Day and National Cocktail Day. Celebrate with a surf and turf, a cheesesteak, and a Surfside all month long. Surfside highlighting cheesesteak and Surfside combos at hundreds of bars and restaurants across the country. Go to drinksurfside.com/Surfside Surf and Turf to see participating locations near you. And if you're a bar or restaurant owner, you can register your establishment as a participating surf and turf location at drinksurfside.com/Surfside Surf and Turf. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly. And of course, to celebrate National Cheesesteak Day, we've had our good friends over at Finnegan's in Hudson. They brought us some nice steak and cheese subs, and they're outstanding. So thank you to our partnership with Surfside and also our friends at Finnegan's. Absolutely outstanding today.
It's good.
It's very good. It's very good. We got the Musings coming up in a little bit, but let's talk to Tom. He's in Quincy. Hey, Tom.
What's up, boys? Listen, I hate to be such a negative person right now, but, it's hard to hate on a guy whose family brought you 4 championship appearances and 2 chips. But at the same time, it's like, now that it's come out about 9 months ago that Wick was essentially just the face of the investment and not an actual real shareholder comparatively, I think this guy's kind of a weasel and a hypocrite. I mean, and then, Pags the whole time had more of a personal ownership than Wick ever did. And Wick let his personal beef with Pags affect who ended up buying the Celtics right now. I mean, this is just, I know this happens. I work for a company that actually just got bought out by private equity. But I'll say this, the best thing for the Celtics did not happen. I mean, it's almost like we could have kept it somewhat in this inner circle, and I feel like Wick was part of icing out Pags. And at the same time, Wick is just, I don't know.
He's a poser. He's a poser. He's a poser. He was a good owner. Don't get me wrong. The family group of people were very great. They were great. But can I add one more to you, Tom? Because I feel what you're saying. So Chisholm did have the highest offer, okay? There was a guy named Middleman who was second, and then it was Pags third. Sure. So if Pags really wanted it, he could have been the highest bidder. He wasn't. But just remember, the deal with Chisholm, it was to have Wick be the governor till 2028, where Pags' deal didn't. So if you really want to get into the minutia
look at the Mavericks. Look at the Mavericks, though. I mean, Mark Cuban's been nowhere. I mean, he had the same type of deal, and it's almost like they somehow got him out of there too. Yeah. So I don't think that whole governor thing's going to work out in the long run. At the same time, and I just lost my train of thought. All I know is this is like if the Patriots sold after winning their second Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It's just frustrating. We're right there. We're finally going to be that dominant team. We have the chance to be, the dynasty. And it's like, oh, nope, sorry. Let's add drama, more chaos. And, if we don't win this year, it's going to be pretty tough to keep going at it. So that's
Tom,
all I got.
Do you know Jeff?
A little bit. Jeff and I, we've ripped it up in the TD Garden area a few times.
Let's go.
I'm a loose cannon, so.
Well, so isn't Jeff.
Yeah. Jeff and I, we definitely shared some green tee shots for sure.
Well, that's good to know.
But the sure thing, right? The wrestler, the famous Mark Sherman. That's how we know each other. So.
All right. Hey, the throw ride hit me up the other day too. Okay. I think I saw him at the Kelly's event. By the way, myself and Big Jim Murray got to do a live broadcast from Kelly's roast beef. Do you know the years that's been around? The only thing better for me, and I loved everybody at Kelly's, but the only thing better for me would be to do a live broadcast from Kowloon. Now, Andy would allow it. I know he would. Because I love Andy, and we're going to WrestleMania together. But that would be it, Jeff. Broadcasting from the Kowloon would be my mercy broadcast. That'd be everything for me. I got Kelly's in the books. If I can knock out Kowloon. Hell, we used to broadcast from the Golden Banana back in the day. Ricky is in South Dakota. Ricky.
Hey, what's going on, man? Big fan of the show.
Thanks, buddy.
So I got a quick thing, and I kind of wanted your opinion on it. So the NHL is not the most popular sport nationally. The Four Nations kind of changed that. Like, a lot of people were talking about it, and what were they talking about? The fights. I don't understand why the NHL is so opposed to fighting. Swayman and Kemper last night, everyone wanted it. Everyone in the building wanted it. It would have been all over YouTube. It would have been everywhere. But, of course, the refs nix it before it can even start. So I want your opinion on if you think the NHL is really going after fighting and want nothing to do with it.
Nope.
But the fans want it.
You know what? And maybe you didn't hear me earlier, Ricky, and I appreciate your support. I think that if Swayman wanted to fight, he wouldn't let a puny ref hold him back.
Yeah, good point.
And I've been consistent on this, Ricky. If I wanted to fight somebody, I'm sorry. We have two guys. If between the two guys behind the glass and even Matt McCarthy, who just walked in, I would swim move all their asses to get at somebody that I wanted to.
Yep.
I would shoo them away. So, yes, we all wanted it. I don't think the refs had anything to do with that. You know what it was? And in a weird way, I think it's a worse look for Swayman. And where let's say he won the fight, we probably would have been like, well, maybe this is like a turning point for him. But if he lost the fight, it would be like he got humbled. You know what I'm saying? It's just there was no winning in that, so the fact that it got stopped almost was worse.
Yeah, you're right. All right, thanks, man.
Hey, what are you doing in South Dakota, man? You listening to Boston?
I'm from the area. The military exiled me to South Dakota, so that's what brings me out here.
Well, appreciate you, sir. Where are you from around here?
Waltham.
Wow, that's where we're located.
I know. Right when I moved out here, you guys switched over to Waltham, but
today is National Cheesesteak Day and National Cocktail Day. So have yourself a steak and cheese. I'll remind you of Carl's.
Good man. All right, man. You guys have a good one.
Thank you. Well, thank you to the military. Got an update on who's available tonight for the Celtics. I'll give you that coming up in a bit. And we got the Musings. Murray's Musings next here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
grown man complaining.
All right, Murray's Musings here on. Do you want to know what I've really noticed about doing a lot of that is people come up to my table and I'll be like, hey, how's it going? And nobody even acknowledges me. And I'll be like, hi. So yesterday I said, hey, how's it going, man? And he didn't look at me. And I said, so should I expect people not to acknowledge me when I'm hosting at a show? Like, for example, right? Like, I've been to a lot of events. So I like card shows and memorabilia and stuff. But, like, if someone says hi to me, I always say, what's up? Yeah, you don't.
Just a common courtesy.
I don't know why. Maybe I'm just a nice guy. I don't know. But there are people that will look you dead in the eye and not acknowledge you. So that one got me yesterday. You know what else got me yesterday? I had myself a field day at Kelly's on Saturday. Now, if Skaz was here, he would appreciate this because he always loves a good poop joke. And I know you do too, Jeff, so glad you're here for this one. This isn't about the food. The food was excellent. It was more about my belly. I've made better choices in life, you know? I don't drink soda anymore. I try to lay off as much sugar as possible, but there was a time in my life where I restricted myself from what I ate. So like if I got a beef, I wouldn't eat the bread. I'd just eat the beef, you know? But now I'm at a point in life where I can fluctuate 15 pounds. You know, I can go up 15 and pick back down to 15 easily. Well, let's just say at Kelly's this week, I had sliders, a beef. I had a lobster roll, fries, onion rings, scallops, shrimp, clams, cookies, and the new green drink that they had that tasted like Girl Scout cookie. I went home, ate another beef. So there's a lot of beef going on, you know? I had a card show on Sunday morning, and Topher, good friend of the show. Thank God he was with me. Bathroom accommodations were absolutely outstanding. Card show was at the Great American Beer Hall. And although I love the Great American Beer Hall, and what's up, Brian? Everybody there. I have to put you over. You have a fantastic restroom accommodation. They have a great sink. It's not one of those ones where you put your hand under and hope it works. You just lift it up. The water comes out. They had great hand sanitizer there. It was great. So, but, you know, I was thinking about this, Jeff. Have you ever worked on the air and ran a board before and had an emergency?
Yes. Absolutely. During a Bruins game, too.
So we both worked at 1510. It definitely has happened to me at 1510. Like so when I first got on the radio, for those that don't know, I was a board op producer just like Jeff. And when you have a mic in front of you, you get to talk a lot, which is great. Well, they also had games like BU hockey was big, and them play it. Well, you know, the Rumble in the Jungle happened. I had to go. And I could hear Bernie Corbett, the announcer, being like, Joe! And he goes, what happened? I go, dude, I had an accident. I'm sorry. He goes, everything okay? I go, yeah, are you? True story, on air. It happened before once with Josh Deering when he was here. I said, hey, Josh, let's take a quick break. I'll be right back. And he had no clue. He was gone. I was gone. It's in Brighton. Whew. Where'd Joe go? Gone. See ya. So anyways, thank you, Topher, yesterday. If I did that table by myself yesterday, my stuff would have been robbed. What else was I going to talk about there? Yeah, my suggestion is if you have to work something on your own the next day, is Robert Carradine, 71 years old. Star Jones, 63. Jim Parsons, 52. Allison Hannigan, 51 years old. I always liked her. She was the
band chick.
Yeah, there you go. Peyton, who's his 35. How old was Peyton Manning again? I forgot.
We got another birthday, though.
Oh, who we got?
We got my nephew, Jacob. He turns 24 today.
Jacob! Shout out!
And we can keep it in the family. My niece, Scarlett Mary, turned 1 over the weekend. We celebrated, so happy birthday to Scarlett as well.
Oh,
that's a great moment in that show.
That kind of happened to me yesterday.
Because you had to go to the bathroom?
I was like, hey, excuse me. I was like swimming. Excuse me.
You were going to be drowning in a few minutes.
Hey, it's Kyle Draper. They're playing in Sacramento tonight. I got the live feed here of the game. Anything else going on, Jeff? What's pissing you off? Anything?
I'm pretty content right now, actually.
Wow. I missed wrestling today.
Yeah, I had no idea it was on earlier in the day again.
I don't know how I feel about that. I want it on now. I want to be watching it now.
Well, you wouldn't be able to watch it in the studio anyway. It's on Netflix.
I leave it on and I don't listen to it. I just watch.
You can get Netflix in there?
Yeah, I got Netflix in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can show you how. It's all hooked up and everything, ready to go. What's going on in chat? Is it the chat upset today? What's up with them? Neighborhood moms they're talking about. Uh-oh. Oh, Brokerage Babe bought the book Hump. So we need a report on that at some point. Oh, it has a poop-related story. Thank you, Brokerage Babe. I'm interested. The bathroom. Like, you ever see someone yawn and then you yawn? Do you think it's like that with a bathroom?
No, I've never had that happen.
All right. Well, we'll go to the final headline of the night here. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is your home for every Patriots game.
Look into the end zone, try to keep the play alive. Falling down, he goes to the end zone. It's caught! Touchdown!
WBZ FM at HD Boston. 98.5 The Sports Hub. A Beasley Media Group station. Essential Sports Hub headline. Presented by Celsius.
What do we talk about now? We've done everything. Let's look at the old rundown. Patriots draft direction. Patriots looking for offense in the draft. Oh, I didn't bring up the Stephon Diggs thing. Do it now. Burt Breer, according to SI.com, spoke to a bunch of assistants or staffers regarding Stephon Diggs and how he was in the locker room. Now, did he have some issues with Kirk Cousins and Josh Allen? Yes, but overall, most of the talk about him was they loved him. He loved football. He loved practice. He practiced hard. And a bunch of Texan staffers said that he was super competitive and a great practice player. He was great. Visiting the Patriots, quote, I would sign him if I were them. So a lot of positives there. There are some negatives too, though. He played for 5 teams in 11 years. So, he's now looking for a 5th team. It's a lot. But there are some flags on him. But for the most people who have worked with him, they say that he's competitive and he badly wants to win. And he has been a frustrated player on the sideline. He has had some issues managing his emotions. I mean, that's why probably A.J. Brown is reading books on the sideline, right? To handle his emotions. But Diggs was in a different situation last year. He took on a lesser role on the Houston Texans. He got beat out by Nico Collins for the number one target. Tank Dell ended up taking the next step. And, well, you thought him and C.J. Stroud would do better, but I actually thought C.J. Stroud regressed a year ago. So what does it mean for success for his future now? Is there a place that's there for Stephon Diggs? It was linked in this article that San Francisco would make a lot of sense. Dallas also may have some interest in Stephon Diggs. So at this point, those teams have a pretty good idea what they're getting. But the Patriots have guys who know him. Todd Downing was with him in Minnesota, right? I'm trying to think of who he was with before that. There are ties to him here, no doubt about it. So who knows what's next, but for the right team, what is Stephon Diggs worth? And Brandon Cooks got $13 million. So does Diggs get more? And the Patriots have this money. Why not spend it? But again, today there's a report out there, are the Patriots cheap, according to Tommy Curran of NBC Sports Boston. And he brings up all these reasons of where they're not, but also mentions how they're some of the least, according to Mike Reese, least spending team since 1993, cash spending. But now we have to look at it as if they don't hit on anybody this offseason, they're going to try to be more of a representative team this year and become more attractive and then move the money over to next year. Out. Basically, that report tells you that they may not spend any more this year, and I wonder if that puts Stephon Diggs off the table. I see Don and Carver on the line, so we got to go to him. What's up, Don?
Hey, buddy. Listen, I called Saturday and was kind of cut off in mid-sentence, mid-word by Big Jim, and I was wondering what the hell it's all about. I called up about Wick and the Peg thing and Forsberg's interview with them, and I mentioned that they look like a couple of used car salesmen. And I was on my way to saying that Wick now, to me, is a complete phony. I mean, he was always in all the photos, all the reels, holding up trophies, holding up this and that. And the guy had 1% interest in the team. And you always saw Bags on the sideline trying to reach to the award or whatever it was that they were holding up. And to find out that everything was upside down, it was kind of. I'm looking at the interview with Forsberg, and Wick has got this Cheshire Cat grin, and I'm saying this bastard, excuse the language, but this guy has been riding on the coattails of his father all these years and pushing Pags out of the picture when Pags had more invested than Wick did. Now, I also have an issue with, and I know you didn't have anything to do with this, but why did Jim cut me off? I mean, it was a Saturday call. I don't know if you remember. You guys were munching on your lobster and your clams.
Done. We had a. There was no ill will towards you, buddy. And I'm sorry we got to go to break. We had a live remote with Aunt Kelly's. We had a schedule. You're the man, Don. You're always welcome on the show. We'll wrap this thing up. Speaking of wrapping it up, we'll do it next here on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.
All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. I know who I want to take me home. Some guy just said, been listening to you for 2 minutes, and you already said Diggs would be on his fifth team when he's only played for 3. Well, I was reading what Bert Breer wrote. So if I did say that, it was because I read it. So let me go back and check to be correct, because we work in facts on this show. Okay, let me see here. So Diggs has played for who? He's played for Minnesota. He's played for Buffalo. And he has played for Houston. 3. Okay. So in this article about Stephon Diggs, I just wanted to if I was wrong, I will take accountability. Let me just make sure it's what I read. It's a positive. You don't play for 5 teams in 11 years. Who is he talking about here? You don't play for 5 teams in 11 years. He's now looking for a 5th team as he heads into his 11th season. That's what it says. That must be an error. I did read it. I did say it. But it's not, it's not accurate. Whoops. So, certified Boston boy, I apologize, but I'm not sorry. What else? How you doing tonight, Jeff? Back here tomorrow?
I'm hitting the wall.
Yeah, back here tomorrow?
Yes, I am.
What's tomorrow? Full show, or are we?
Yeah, we're on till 10 tomorrow.
We're on till 10, so we got a full show tomorrow. So we'll just have a full day of more takes. Maybe we'll do a big Red Sox breakdown. That gets you excited, huh?
Actually, it does, because I'm actually interested in the season.
I am too. Ooh, I got all the prop bets. We can do that. You know what the one I'm staring at the most that I like can't. There's only one way I can look at it. Garrett Crochet wins over under 12. Does it seem low for the ace of the staff?
That does seem very low for him. They must not think he's gonna last all year.
Could it be the injuries? Could it be the fact that maybe some of these guys don't go 5 innings anymore? Could it be that's the one? You know, no, and it's funny. Some guy came in to Kelly's when we did the event. He goes, "I want to make a bet when I get to Encore." They're like, his Boston accent, and he goes, "What should I take?" He goes, "I'm thinking about taking the over in the White Sox for the season. It's 52. That's low." And I said to him, "Under."
Oh yeah.
If he thinks it's low, under. Like off the street, under. So I might put that in. Under 52. They stink.
What'd they get last year? Like 30-something wins?
I don't know. Kyle Teal, though, the guy got traded for Crochet, I guess has been ripping it apart in the minors. So, well.
I've been dabbling in MLB this show, and I've been actually using him, and he's been hitting pretty well for my team. So,
Red Sox right now underway in Mexico. Well, let me give you an update on that one. But I just saw Cassis at the plate. Ooh, that sounds like a Casey at the bat. Oh, I hope I didn't just create that. Cassis at the plate. Casey at the bat. Wait, where is this Cassis? Oh, why can't I see this Red Sox game? Is it an exhibition game or something? How do I watch this thing?
NESN Plus.
No, I'm out. Out. Wait, there's no game tonight. I don't understand why it's not on regular. Anyways, I wanted to give you some Red Sox stuff. Some Celtics stuff before we get out of here tonight. They have been absolutely crushing it. Last night, in Utah the other night. By the way, you know who's a wicked poser? Colin Sexton. He was trying to get into it with Kristaps Porzingis, and Porzingis just laughed at him. Poser. That was the guy that got traded for Kyrie, I believe, the pick that it was for Cleveland when they.
Sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the Utah now. Irrelevant. Peyton Pritchard got the start. He got 3 fouls in his first 3 minutes, so now he's going to come off the bench again. Hauser's been great. He won't play tonight. He's been dealing with some back stiffness. Jason Tatum, since the All-Star break, 27.7 points per game, 8.8 rebounds per game, 7.3 assists per game. That, to me, is really good. I would say that's good, right?
It's good.
Good. Over the last 2 months, the Celtics have lost one road game. They're 12-1 away from home during the stretch. It's an NBA best, 28-7 on the year. So yesterday, after winning their 10th time in 11 games, the Celtics are officially back on pace for a 60-win season. But their top eights missed 101 total games. Their starting lineup has played just 20 games together. They're 11-10 this year. They went from December 19th to January 27th. They went 11-10. In their last 25 games, the Celtics are 20-5. And since the All-Star break, they're 13-3. I think their only losses are to the Pistons, Thunder, and Cavs, who are all playoff teams. And in the month of March, they're 10-1. They're 3.5-point underdog favorites tonight. Excuse me. How do they stop Domantas Sabonis? Is he back? I'm actually going to look that up. Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say? Oh, sorry. We have a. It's funny because they're doing the Celtics game in the other studio. It's all right. We'll get through it. Tonight against Sacramento. I remember the last time they played Sacramento. It was not good for the Green, but looking at it tonight, 3.5-point favorites in this one. So we're back here tomorrow night for a full show. So I'm excited for that. I wonder if we do get any updates from Pro Day. I thought it was very interesting today seeing Cam Ward went to dinner with the Titans. Like, he's all lined up to go. Potentially number one. We'll see what team that he does end up with. We'll have more reaction to that. The Bruins right now, who are getting closer to the lottery than they are to what? The playoffs. They're nowhere near that. We'll have a reaction on the Celtics as well. I got to watch the city documentary. I'm 2 episodes in, so I got to catch up on that. I think another one came out tonight. So I think that's been an outstanding series, by the way. So for those who haven't had a chance to check out the new Celtics documentary, it's been absolutely outstanding. So so that's it for us tonight. Again, we'll hand things off to Grandy and Max. I think Matt McCarthy's here tonight, so he'll take you through the rest of the night. Do want to thank our intern Trent. Great job, buddy. Excellent job. He's doing awesome for us. Also, Jeff Williams, excellent in for Skaz.